Remix. 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 Illiterate.
What it do, niggas?
What did you say? Something about illiterate?
I was editing a video that I have to post. 9 a.m. I thought I pushed pause quick enough. I guess not, because your super ears are ready.
Yeah, these are bionic headphones.
I believe it.
What up, Jab?
What's up, everybody? Peace, Amber. Peace, Geechee. Peace to the world. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Liberation Media. Please like, share,
comment, subscribe. Yeah, that's the.
Put this in your social. Support the Patreon. Buy something at the store. Get you some new merch.
Did you get some new merch, Jared?
I did.
Oh.
I'm waiting on my shirts and my bucket hats. I got a couple of mugs. The
you
mugs
got on
are
two
fly.
shirts like an old man?
You
got on two shirts like an old man?
Yeah, I always wear an undershirt. Is that an old man thing?
I said, what is it about niggas being over 40 wearing these two shirts? Y'all not hot?
I think the objective is not to sweat on the other shirt.
Oh,
that's part of it. And then for some of us, it's
you sweat through them both.
I mean, it can get that way, especially in the summer. But it's also, I also like it because it's like Spanx. It holds me together. It's like my bra.
How tight is this t-shirt?
Some of it.
Yeah. Because you play so damn much. So now I'm going to ask extra questions. But speaking of Spanx, I will say a little bodysuit, they do be like defining very well. I said, I feel like a bad bitch in this outfit.
Oh,
it's more of those.
I thought you were talking about for men. I was like, men got bodysuits.
No, like bodysuits that women wear. My problem is that I don't want to have to get naked.
Look at this.
Yeah, what's this new thing?
You see this new feature? Oh,
yeah.
I like this. It's like they're trying to be like Twitch. You can put the comments to show up.
Wait, did you do that?
I just turned it on. Yeah.
Oh, so the audience can see their own chats when they.
And then, yeah, and then Restream allows you to do it, and I know Twitch does it, but I like this. I like this version of it.
I do too. Now the word's a little small. I feel like maybe it's me. I don't know. They're a little small.
No, it's a little small, but I mean, how much you can't have it take up too much of the screen. They're not that important, Amber.
Right.
Damn.
Right. Plus, it could show you whenever you talking to somebody says something wild and you respond to it. Now they can know that's why you're responding to it.
I mean, I don't know, Jared. I love my fans, so I think that they should, be seen. Yeah, he definitely had a bra on.
Hey.
But I do, I don't know if it's me getting older because people was like, you gonna really understand why you should wear shapewear or bodysuit, and I was like, that just feels like too much. Feels like I'm doing too much. And I don't like to get naked to pee. And when you're wearing them bodysuits, if they don't have a little thing at the bottom, you gotta like strip to pee. And I just don't want to do all that. I just feel like I drink a lot of water. I don't want to be somewhere and have to be, naked.
Yeah, once in my life I had to wear overalls at work. And I was like, this is not functional. You gotta come all the way up out to do everything. I'm like, this is not functional. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, absolutely. We need
like that. When I was on my little vacation in Vegas, I wore this bodysuit with this little cute 2-piece fit, and we was in the desert for one, so that was already too much. So we was in the desert, so I did not go use the restroom because I don't want to go to a porta potty. So I had to get back to our hotel. I had to literally strip naked to pee. It was too much. I said, it's too much.
I'm with you on that. I avoid porta potties at all costs. I will drive miles if necessary.
Now if I'm at a music festival, I will use it, but I bring Clorox wipes with me and Lysol spray. And I get napkins before I go in to put my bag on. So I like sit the napkins on the floor, put my bag on the napkins, like multiple layers.
Oh, nothing gets put down. Oh.
I can't do it. I don't know.
And
There's,
then
like, you know
I would
how
even put
there's like
I
the
put my
little,
little oils on my top of my
nose.
but I don't go on the last day. So if I have to use a porta potty, it's gonna
last
be within the
day.
first 2 days of the festival. I'm not going on the last day because I know that they've been destroyed. I'm not doing
Ooh.
that.
Son. Listen, we do have news stories, everybody, so don't fret.
We do.
Don't fret.
Ooh. I prepared today and I sent myself the links ahead of time
Oh, stop
so
it.
that we could talk about this video because I just feel like the new generation of kids don't get the credit they deserve. And this new generation of kids reminds me so much of myself. My mama said I was a menace as a toddler, and I believe it. I fully believe that I was. And this made me think about that. And I was like, ooh, we should talk about this.
A menace as a
Oh,
toddler.
is this what you put? Okay. Yep, I
Mhm.
got you. All right. As I together, like, share, subscribe, put this in your socials, support Black Liberation Media. Here we go. Kids don't know what they want.
I love the edges, and also it pulls back your face, and like you can see your face. You can see your pretty face. It's so much nicer. Now I need nice behavior from you as well. Your behavior gotta match your braids. The braids is nice. The behavior gotta be nice. You got it. All right.
So, Mar, how did that make you feel?
It did not make me feel good. But if Miss C would stop acting like Miss Cece, then this wouldn't be happening. Because first of all, Miss Cece always said she don't like snitches, but she is one.
Ooh.
I'll see you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
I know that's motherfucking right, baby. She said, I'll see you later, guys.
Oh, wow.
I said, if that ain't a young Amber, I don't know what is.
Her grades ain't matching her behavior. What's that about?
She said, you know, you can't be having a cute little hairstyle and look so nice and not have nice behavior. I said, my behavior matches what people do to me. So Miss Cece said she don't like snitches, but she is one. If she don't want snitch behavior, then she should stop being a snitch. I'm with Samara.
So Miss Cece is the reason why she in the office in the first place?
Yeah, I think the teacher like sent her to the office or something.
She snitched on her.
I mean, I feel like we have to model the behavior we want children to exhibit. And when the behavior we're modeling is you being a snitch, then what do you expect? I don't know. I just really like the way she articulated her feelings. And I think that that's important. And I like that the school allowed her, like the administration allowed her to express how she felt. And then she said, all right, bye. See you later, guys. Like there was no like yelling at her or like demonizing of what she said. And I think that's important because we do that to kids so much. And I remember people doing that to me as a kid. Like I went to a charter school for middle school and they used to paddle people and I wouldn't let nobody fucking touch me. So I would get suspended if something happened because I wouldn't let them paddle me. And I was like, you're not putting your hands on me. I don't know like where you grew up where you thought violence was okay, but you're not going to hit me. That's just not going to happen. And they hated that. Like they hated that I will voice that. And I was like, well, this is wrong for one. And you hitting me isn't going to change my behavior. Mind you, the behavior wasn't even bad. It was just me talking. Literally.
I thought school paddling went out with my generation. I didn't know they were still trying to hit people.
No, they still paddling niggas now.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine
wild.
that.
Where? Let me Google this. What people?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Y'all didn't know that?
No, not now.
No, because I always made it very clear, you know. So kind of like what you're saying, like I don't think it's appropriate to instill the definition of snitching as being correcting poor behavior. That's not snitching. Snitching is when two people make a conscious effort to do something together and then one tells on the other when they get caught. Snitching is not you do something to me and then I tell on you. That's not snitching. Snitching is not a teacher correcting the behavior of a student acting up in a classroom. That's not snitching. But I do like, as you pointed out, that she was encouraged to articulate and make her point. I would just then encourage that she be politely disagreed with and encouraged to behave, you know. But to your point, I was always very clear with my children. There's to be no physical contact of any kind whatsoever. I don't care what the situation is, and I don't care what they've accused you of doing. any physical contact immediately, would enact, protocol midnight or whatever.
I think that's kind of the example of like how people, when we talk about like policies, and people think that because a policy is permanent, you can't change it. But there's like a lot of laws that's still in the book. Like we talked about the, in Kentucky, if you have ice cream in your pocket, you can go to jail because it's a criminal offense, because they used to steal horses like that. But now that I'm looking at what you just said,
They
it's
stole
still
horses up putting ice cream in their pocket.
Yeah, they'll put the ice cream in their
Wow.
pocket, walk next to the horse, and then the horse will follow them out. And they say, I never touched the horse. But the schools
Your horse
that you
chose me.
yeah, I ain't chose your horse chose me, but nigga, like,
Yeah.
but there's still like 19 states that have paddling as an option. Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Colorado,
mostly in the South.
Florida, yep, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming. So
yes, Lions time, baby. You cannot. I am against getting whooped at school.
Lion, isn't that from that little kids cartoon? It looks so familiar.
Well, this Lions time baby's apparently in favor of babies getting whooped at school.
They also asked me how I was, so I want to answer their question. I am doing great. I almost thought I was going to drop my favorite from my roster yesterday, but he redeemed himself. And so I'm on a high.
Good for him. And good for you letting somebody make a recovery effort.
Because I was going to block him. But back to the story, I do just want to highlight something. One, somebody asked about them recording her. The person sitting in the room with her, the woman, that's her mom. And she was coming, I had to go back and do a little research. She was coming back from a suspension or something. Like she wasn't at school for a day or something. I just think that also the way that we treat children doesn't allow them to be human. Like saying that someone has to be nice, to me, I don't feel like I have to be nice to you. If I show up at school, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not cussing you out. That doesn't mean I owe you niceness. And I think that telling kids they have to act a certain way isn't fair to them and their emotions, because we all have a complex level of emotions. And I might not be in the mood to talk that day. But if I didn't do anything crazy, I didn't throw a pencil at you, I didn't do anything wild, I think that you should just leave me alone. And the way that we demonize kids having emotions, it's always been very concerning to me. One of my friends' kids got suspended from school for saying nigga. And then another one of my friends, her kid got in trouble in the school cafeteria because he was walking around. And I was like, well, you can just tell somebody to sit down. You don't have to suspend them. Like, that's just not realistic. Or this other little girl, one of my friends, he was like, they were outside playing on the playground during recess, and she like choked somebody. But she has brothers. So she thought that was just normal play behavior. And I said, instead of suspending her, because he was like, well, we're going to whoop her ass because she knows she shouldn't be doing that. I said, well, she might not know she shouldn't be doing that because she has brothers that are showing her that behavior. So she thinks that's normal play. So you can have a conversation with her about what's appropriate play and what's inappropriate play, but you don't have to whoop her. And so much of like the way we treat children is so criminalizing that we don't even let them be full like humans. And that really bothers me, especially like since I have God kid, I have a God baby that I do stuff for all the time. And I'm always checking on her because she's very similar to me. Like she even talks like me. It's really weird. But her mom was pregnant with her the entire time. We were like really close friends. We're still close friends now, but like I was literally there with her the entire pregnancy. So I'm not surprised she like sounds like me, but she literally acts very similar to me and sounds like me. So I'm always worried about like how people would treat her in school because she is what some people would consider rebellious because she asks a lot of questions. She's very smart. And I don't think that's rebellious. I think that that's inquisitive. And we really demonize children for even asking questions or being interested or curious. And that's how we get them in jail. The school to prison pipeline.
Sick with it.
Okay.
Oh, that was done. That was my soapbox statement for the day.
No, we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I know y'all not used to me just, giving you such great information because I play too much. But
no, we are. I'm just not used to when it's going to end. That's funny. It.
You're funny. You know that? So funny. Okay, back to my roster debacle. Okay, so
the roster debacle.
That damn
My,
roster.
my theory is that if I call you and you don't,
Do they got you on? Do they got you on their roster?
he don't have a roster. You're asking the wrong questions.
What you mean?
She is the roster. She's KRS. I'm not
Well,
in your top 5. I'm your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
You tell them about your roster, and none of them never tell you about their roster.
Who's got talking about a roster? You asking too many questions.
See, I don't want to talk about this.
It's not a
Who
secret.
talks about their roster?
You just said it is a secret. It's
not a secret. It's not a secret. I have talked about it with the poly guy that I said I should stop talking to. But I mean, this guy lives in New Jersey.
So you're honest and not transparent, is what you're saying.
I'm honest. If he asks,
not transparent though. You're honest, but not transparent.
I don't offer up information people don't ask me for. I don't think it's important. This ain't
about. It is.
This ain't about nobody else. It's about you and me, baby.
Well, oh shit. Boy. Sometimes it's funny, but sometimes niggas be getting killed over shit like that. But I'm gonna just tell you. But go ahead.
Nobody's gonna get killed.
You never know that. You never know that. Go ahead. Finish your roster stuff. Finish your roster story. My bad.
I called him. He didn't answer, and I didn't talk to him the next day, the entire day. So I didn't reach out to him because to me, if I call you and you don't answer, then the communication is on you at that point. You should reach out. So I didn't do anything, and a whole day had gone by, and I said, it's been a whole day. Haven't heard from the New Jersey nigga. So I was finna be done with it. But then he called me when he got off work. So
that's all it would take. A slight delay because he's at work.
Well, I mean, I called him the previous day, like during the day ish before he went to work. He didn't answer, and then he didn't talk to me the entire time he was at work, which usually he'll hit me up or something, but he probably was busy because I mean he works an interesting job. And then the next morning he didn't hit me up either. So I was like,
y'all in a relationship though, right?
No, I have a short. I don't know if it's come across, but I have a very short fuse. And that's whack. I don't give that many chances. So I mean, I just expect a certain level of behavior that requires you to be obsessed with me. And if you aren't exhibiting that behavior,
obsessed.
You gotta go. Yeah, exactly. DC Joe Black, he ain't no high value man because a high value man will be hitting me up in the morning, noon, and night.
No, actually, that's not
what high value men say. High value man said he don't have to hit you up. Yeah, he hits you up if and when he feels like it, and if and when he feels like it, you will hop too.
And I won't.
Well,
and I won't.
Then you must not want a high value man.
God forbid that he gets lost. I don't need Joe Goldberg, but I will say that white man.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't either.
That white man is touched. He's a killer. There's a lot happening there. I said,
I agree. Oh, I can't. You can't put the screen up on them more. Yeah, they. Jared, you lucky you out of the game, bro.
I am lucky. I'm happy to be out.
I don't think dating is that hard. I think
Amber, listen, there's no way you're gonna say the shit that you say on a constant basis and say dating not hard. You crazy as hell.
What I say that makes you think dating is hard?
You contribute to the hard ass dating. You're the reason why the motherfucker. You talking like you don't hear you.
I have been consistently dating the same 2 people since last year, so I'm not contributing to the struggles.
And shit.
I'm not.
I couldn't wait to get out. The first woman that showed the slightest interest, I just latched on and held on for dear life.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Drag me out.
That's where it goes. That's the life.
Drag me out of this dating nonsense.
Oh wait, hold on. John said
she showed interest.
Got him. Got him.
John was on here being fast. Who was on here? John snitched on who exactly it was too. They said y'all was on here being fast this week talking about a calendar.
Who?
John. He said y'all was on here being fast.
Who what? I don't know. Who is John?
Catman Chronicles. I like that. I like that. Keep me. That's what I'm talking about. It's an honor to be kept.
No, it's an honor to be kept.
Yeah.
You're talking about something.
I don't need to be just out here on my own trying to figure this out.
Winston, this is Amber's love line. I don't know why
Amber's love line.
You didn't catch on to that. It's definitely Amber's
matter of
love line.
fact, if it's so much a love line, how about you bring one of them dudes on one day? Let us talk to him.
Oh my
Sure.
goodness.
Can we call him right now?
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
you
Actually,
can,
yeah.
if you want
Actually,
to.
yeah. I think that would be good morning TV.
I
Yeah,
think
drop
Amber.
drop the link.
It doesn't matter if he's asleep. He needs if you call him, he needs to wake up.
I'm thoughtful. Okay, I don't.
Yeah,
I
man.
know
Yeah.
people's
See,
schedules.
this is what we say in Charleston, man. You putting that root in the game, man. You messing that thing
What
up.
that mean?
Don't worry about it. I know
I
you
was
doing
told I had someone tell me, and she has South Carolina ties. She
Oh,
told
yeah.
me she put a root on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you eat her red rice? She made red rice for you?
She probably did. She used to cook a lot.
Yeah.
And she did tell me. She said she said I put a root on you. I said, oh my goodness, what does
Somebody
that
put a root
mean?
on them is crazy.
She said you don't need to know. She said you'll figure it out if you figure it out.
You eat that
So
red
every
The
time
one
rice.
y'all
something
know
funny,
about, the one y'all know about is who I would call, and he at work. I forgot he went in today. He been there since 5:30.
Man,
But he got a very high value job of cutting steel. So
that sounds
he be
like too
on
much.
this little
That
machine,
sounds too
like cutting
difficult.
steel into
too much
pieces.
labor there.
That's too much labor. That's why. That's why I was like,
I
I
feel like he
gotta
need a
go to
little.
grad school. I gotta go.
I need a
These
man who
these
uses
hands
his
are
hands.
soft.
No callus.
Yeah, see, and that's not attractive. I need a nigga who be using his hands. I need somebody who can just like.
I
make
use
the
my
legs
hand. Look.
going.
I'm using my hand right now. Look.
When you shake his hand, it needs to feel like sandpaper, right? That's what you need.
I
It
use my
needs
hand to
be
get my card out
sandpaper.
my wallet. Yeah.
Not sandpaper, but I mean, I like to know that somebody been working because I feel like
How you know he ain't working with gloves and then the hands still soft?
I think he does use gloves. But like it's like a big machine where he like cuts steel with this like electro fire thing. I don't know, some crazy shit. He work at a steel warehouse, and he go to work at 5:30. And I forgot that he went in today because he's going to LA with his brothers in the fall, and so he's working like an extra day here and there to like make extra money for the trip. I just forgot about it because not that there's so many of them, but I just forgot in general. But the other nigga, he sleep because he works at night, so he sleep.
So
Hamilton, that's funny as hell.
Can I just quickly, if I can just inject, there's one news item.
Jared, go ahead. Let's talk about your story.
Well, one of them is just I only wanted to say one thing about the shooting at the Jewish Museum in DC. And that is not that I think our audience needs to hear this, but I just want to put this out in the atmosphere that nothing that anyone is saying in response to this incident should change any of our understanding, analysis, or criticism of the Zionist settler colonial state of Israel. So I just felt like I was even at the gym this morning, and it was I could hear it in people's conversation at the gym. First of all, can I just say gym etiquette is supposed to be no phones, no politics, but also
they be in there recording full vlogs.
No conversation that anyone should be able to hear while they have their own headphones on. So I was really debating whether I was going to have an incident this morning because, I chose not to. There was an elderly group talking. I mean, they were just so loud for the whole 30 minutes that I'm on the bike. And I'm like, this is unacceptable. So everybody needs to be quiet.
That's why you
focus
trying
on
to
their
tone your legs.
I'm just trying to get some cardio because remember, Amber, the most important muscle in the body is the heart. And some of us used to forget that when we would go in there with our ego lifting. And that's why some of us are feeling the way we feel at 53. So leave the ego at the door and shut up. That's the other thing. Be quiet. So they were over there, yap. Anyway, just, but part of it was, a little bit, the news was on and there's this, they're trying to find ways of saying what they want to say without, and immediately the conversation, as the narrative is being encouraged, is what a horrific act. And it goes back to the need for peace and maturity. And then I saw the Israeli ambassador give his little comments, going back to "we are a resilient people" line and all this other kind of, and and then you could just feel the impetus and the encouragement to see, this is why we have to defend Israel no matter what, because these lunatics, da 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 da. And in comparison, of course, to the ongoing nightmare that Palestinians are suffering, as bad as anyone might be encouraged to feel about this incident the other day in DC, it should be recognized that magnified almost infinitely is what's happening daily to Palestinians. So this also, by the way, I'll stop here, but this also connects, interestingly enough, to one of the other stories that I did want us to get to at least a little bit this morning. But let me just stop there for a second.
So
I agree.
I wanted to get that off my chest.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear about it until you said something, and I kind of look at it. But I do. I was reading this book about.
Oh, you hadn't heard about the shooting?
Nah.
Oh wow, you focused.
I ain't really.
Yeah, congratulations on your focus.
No, but when you said it, I kind of looked up a little bit, and then obviously saw like what is it, the Jewish, the whatever, AJC was hosting the event. But it just made me think about the book that I was reading about the Battle of Blair Mountain, and talked about the coal miners, and they got their own museum. But it was, again, always making me remember how much I hate museums. And I couldn't probably articulate it the way in which I read in the book, but it's talking about how it tells the story of it gives trophies of cultural domination, colonialism, imperial triumph, and just the museum in itself is a violent place. And so when shit like that happen, I'm like, I mean, that's what
museums
you want.
Museums are wildly political.
Jewish museum place?
Huh?
Jewish museum place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I do want to just address a quick comment before we go back to this. Lion Town says something about us whooping our kids. You must not know me because I don't want no fucking kids, and I don't know you. And if you were smart, you would know that I don't believe in whoopings because we just talked about it.
What
so
you talking
I'm
about?
That quick tea. This Lion
DC Joe back
whooping our kids, and I said, "What kids? Where the kids gonna come from?" I don't even whip my dog.
DC Joe Black made the point in raising Stacey Patton's work.
Yeah.
It's a book.
Yeah, she wrote a book. I forgot the exact title, but it's something akin to "Stop Beating Our Kids," and she's done a lot of research on the abuse Black children suffer at the hands of their parents, often with this old concept of we have to, engage in martial punishment.
Very often, like it was like a little bit here and there, and she was like, "This isn't working. Actually, this is stupid, and stop doing it." I said, "I'm so glad that you came to your senses because it wasn't gonna work." And my sister and I were both like, we're very tall and we play sports and stuff. So she would try to whoop us and we would like run away, and she was not catching us. So it was really going downhill for her. I think she made the right decision to stop trying to do that. But I hadn't heard about it either, Yichi, until yesterday. I only saw something yesterday randomly, and apparently this happened almost 2 days ago. I saw something randomly because Ayanna Presley had posted a picture of them, and I was looking for something she was saying about the bill that had just passed in the House, and I saw that picture, and I was like, who is these random white people that she talking about? So I looked at the story, and I was like, I just wish we cared this much about the thousands of Palestinians being bombed and like their whole bodies being torn apart. Y'all on the ground screaming, crying, throwing up because some niggas got shot. That's sad, but also it's other people dying every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's also a Luigi component to it in some of the news coverage response, because it's not just that two people were shot. It's two people that represent what many in the affluent white target media audience for much of this media, it represents them in the same way that Brian Thompson represents for many the at least the ruling elite, the ruling elite, and the goal to become part of that ruling elite. So there's that's why they add that extra terrorism charge to Luigi. And if I read correctly, they're doing the same with the young man accused of shooting the two at the museum. And I think that's part of it, that if it is just two black folks or brown folks getting shot up in their own communities, blah, 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 it's not the same. But when there's a targeted attack on affluent white folks, then there is, I think, the concern levels, the threat levels go up, and the response becomes that much more, curated, so that the narrative comes right back to the violence of the so-called terrorists and the rightfulness of the settler, and then all of the conversation around what's going on becomes tainted with, well, but we don't want this kind of violence, and we don't, but
Yeah.
again, even if we take the man at his word, he was doing this in response to the genocide in Palestine. So let's not leave that part out, whatever folks want to say or think about the act itself. So
Yeah. I mean, I think that violence boosts people. So as much as people like try to condemn people being violent, like we wasn't getting shit peacefully. So somebody did something. Now I'm not doing that shit because I ain't going to prison. But somebody got to do it, and they did. Somebody also said something about the guy's Instagram or social media, that he was a disturbed human. Can somebody share a link? Because I don't know who the guy is. I only saw someone talking about the girl on Facebook, and this girl who's talking about her was openly talking about how they met at this AJC conference in New York, and how they both bonded over, how they both, fear for their safety because they were Zionists. I said, girl, you're not making it no better. You probably should fear for your safety. Being a Zionist isn't a good thing, you dumb bitch.
look, advanced thinking Jews are pretty clear on the danger and the threat that Israel poses to Jews. That it's not, and some, depending on how you read the religion and the history, would even argue that Israel itself is anti-Semitic in its existence. That its whole thing is it goes against the religion. It goes against the safety and sanctity of Jews. It goes. I mean,
That's what the
it's
older people be arguing, right? The ones who wear like.
So I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's a politics thing. I think people who have a clarity around politics or certain views on the history of the religion see it this way, and then others who have a certain Zionist, white supremacist, imperialist politic support the other view. But yeah. So, but
Ricky,
again,
can you post a link to the BAP statement for us to read?
And so yeah, but yeah, that's now. I just want to share something. Geechee mentioned this thing about hating museums. I'm going to add museums and nonprofit centers to that same category. And I just want to play this little clip from my own, because I can't stop laughing at it. But this to me speaks to some of the same from the Malcolm X 100th anniversary event at the Betty Shabazz Malcolm X Center the other day.
Malcolm X, man, his courage, his bravery. It's crazy how they kill you and then they celebrate you in the same places.
Message.
It's crazy how they kill you and then they celebrate you in the same places.
Okay, Fat Joe.
So I cut it off at the best part, at my favorite part. But
keep playing it. Go back.
It's only one more little piece to it.
Then they bring those celebrities to dig you up and bury you again.
But that's sort of the thing that I'm.
Malcolm X, man, his courage, his bravery. It's crazy how they kill you and then they celebrate you in the same places.
Message.
It's crazy how they kill you and then they celebrate you in the same places.
They're not confessing.
They're bragging.
That's what I wanted to. So, and that's sort of what I'm saying. Like they kill you, and then as a trophy of their victory, they create a museum and a center to pay tribute to the killing, and then make money and narrative off of it. And that's what I think most of these museums end up being in the end. And then they turn that event, by the way, got turned into a fundraiser for the center. So you get to see, all these people who would not represent and do not represent the politics Malcolm championed now being given credit and raising money for a center that speaks against Malcolm's own politics. It's wild.
Yeah, I think so even the larger code, it was talking about ethnographic museums versus art museums, and the art tends to lean towards commercially successful, what has been collected by or otherwise belong to wealthy elite, and what particularly critics historically laud and particular curators continue to uphold. Whatever their goals, many museums may seem like they sprung fully formed from an unseen authority above high. And many, in fact, tell a story that replicates a seemingly natural hierarchy of cultures. A museum as a display of collections often serves as a functional boasting space for empire. Polling in the U.S. regularly shows that museums are trusted as deeply credible sources of truth in our culture at present, more so than most media outlets and state and federal government. So it has been extremely impactful education site and more even fucked up than never, because like even with schools, like everybody, it's almost like everybody go to museums, and even like if you visit a space, like that's kind of the first thing they go to is museums, as it's like the credible narrative of the place. So hate the shit. But I mean, I said if you go as a person who's going to tell a more better story, I think it'll be pretty powerful. I'm gonna put it back in the chat.
I think put what back in the chat?
Zenzi asked about the book. It's called Black Coal and Red Bandanas.
I just went and found, speaking of, and I can't remember what the article is called, The Art of the Americas Revisited. Anyway, museums and universities are one of the tools responsible for the production of modern systems of knowledge and have helped to establish and maintain the control of knowledge and its production by the West, placing themselves as very powerful epistemic technology. So just another example of, this was a good article, actually. Western memory was constructed, preserved, and transmitted to future generations through the history of art, while objects with non-European origins were largely represented in natural history museums, and only later did anthropological and ethnographic museums place non-Western and non-modern subjects elevated by the progressivist view into categories between the natural and the civilized worlds. So there's even, so to your point, and it sounds like we may have been reading the same article, or we might have been citing the same sources, but these museums are just, I can't stand them. And then when you look at the conditions of the people that are being reflected, it's atrocious. And then even the way the Holocaust Museum, I haven't been to this Jewish museum in question from the other night, but that was supposed to be specific to the relationship of Jews to the city of DC. But anybody should recognize that they're here to validate and even valorize the city and the country that they're housed in. So the museum, neither museum is going to be meant to raise any sort of criticism of even how Jews were treated by the United States or anything like that. Although I do remember in the Holocaust Museum, you do see they do acknowledge the fact that President Roosevelt sent a boatload of Jews back to Nazi Germany to be killed.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to, they do acknowledge some of that. But at the end of the day, the point is, and I think the only reason that museum is in this country is because they can claim that this was something Germany did, and that the U.S. could then falsely claim credit for heroically ending that war, which of course the Russians really did. But
two things. I don't remember. Well, the first thing, and then the question. But when you go to museums, it's almost like this site of you can't even like kind of critique the stuff, because people kind of like, they're there for the vibe. They don't really want to hear all the shit, and they just want to like accept whatever is there, and you just become this negative Nancy person. But I wonder if
why would you do that at a museum, Geechee?
I mean, what the fuck you there for other than learning? I mean, I don't.
That's friends. No, they there for the shenanigans. You need to wait until afterwards when they do the class debrief in the classroom, and you raise your hand and then you refute everything you just saw. They're not gonna listen when. But
but that goes back to my point though of like I know they say that whatever study shows that people trust museums more than the media, but I would like to see like how it literally impacts people's, I guess, subconsciously. And then the question I had, Jared, I don't remember if Science of Coercion talked about museums at all, but like I would love to see like some kind of study of like the impact of how people are like, I guess, subconsciously impacted by museums, because it's
the one that I was just referencing there does that.
Okay.
Which one?
That article that I was referencing there, I have to dig it back out, does some of that. And there are a couple that I've seen that do that, but not Science of Coercion.
I think each, if you really want to win your argument, then you're gonna think about where you're doing it at. Because I'm not finna argue with no niggas in the museum. I'm gonna wait till we get on the bus and I'll be like, all right, y'all. So here's the real lowdown.
Yeah, I'm not saying to do I'm just saying like it's even a space where you can't even combat any of the stuff. Like, so for instance, one of my good friend Barrington, he had a sister who came to Costa Rica, and he was like, yo, could you make sure you show her around? And I'm like, yeah, wherever she want to go, I can, whatever. But one of the first place she wanted to go to was a museum. I was like, I don't go to that damn museum. But we went, and then the conversations always,
Which museum did you take her to?
I mean, the one that I didn't take her. She wanted to go to a museum in San Jose, and it was just very, like, for instance, the Bree people who are the original people of Costa Rica, like they got this small ass piece in the museum, and the narrative is just shitty. And so it's I would go in that capacity, or like when we had to take the young people to the African American Museum from Baltimore to DC, but them shits be whack.
Oh, I do want to bring up something from the chat, because I do think it's important, and I was actually seeing it on socials the other day. A-Rob said, do we have time to discuss Durham Rising? It's a huge coalition of labor orgs in Durham, North Carolina, pressuring Duke to make voluntary payments to the city since they own 11% of land here and pay zero taxes. And I saw part of the press conference they did for this, and I thought it was really cool. I also just like Durham as a city because that's where the Dr. Polly Murray Museum is, and I've always wanted to go. So I've been paying attention to stuff that's been happening there, and I definitely think that we should talk about it, but I don't have a story for it.
What is it now? The Durham what?
Durham Rising. It's a coalition of labor orgs who are asking Duke to contribute to like making payments to the city because they own so much land, they don't pay any taxes.
Oh, okay. I think I feel like I heard about that at the Resistant Bill conference, but I don't. And there's a brother who I might can contact.
I also don't know how they have 11% of the land but no taxes. Like,
new coalition called Durham Rising holds town hall, makes broad demands of Duke University.
That sounds a little rude. Why they gotta be broad demands?
I mean, there ain't Durham Dispatch for the people. On May 7th, around 120 people gathered in the Lion Park Community Center to launch Durham Rising, an alliance of unions and progressive organizations pushing for an improved relationship between Duke University, its workers, and Durham. And who you said somebody in the chat just did this?
Mm-hmm. A-Rob was asking if we could talk about it. I just want to highlight it because I do think it's important. And some of them work at the university. I think as union workers and stuff too. And they were just bringing up the fact that we should be, the Duke owns all this land and they don't put any investment into the actual city of Durham, which I think is really important. And kind of something that we talked about here in Memphis, like we have corporations who are pilots and it's in lieu of like paying taxes, if they bring a business here and they do so much. They haven't done any pilots recently. Like they haven't done pilots in like 2 years because of so much pushback from them, from the previous mayor, and like how many he was letting happen. But they were really like damaging because these corporations come here, they weren't even like, sometimes weren't even doing full-time jobs, or they were like warehouses who were like hiring temporary workers and shit, not even giving them like benefits, but then they don't have to stay, they don't have to like pay any taxes. So you already are saving money by not paying taxes. So you could afford to actually hire people full-time with benefits, but you're choosing not to because you're a corporation and you only care about your money. So I get the point of them even trying to pressure them.
Let me see if I reach out to somebody right quick. I can get Mama Cookie on the line. Watch. Let me see.
Okay, while you do that, I'm going to answer this question. This man said, I wonder, do Amber take care of her men, or does she be having them out here looking thrown away? First of all, a man will have to have himself together to even talk to me. So I don't have to take care of them because they take care of themselves. You see that? Yeah.
What's folks' plans for African Liberation Day?
When is African Liberation Day?
Well, well, I'm always a little bit confused, be perfectly honest, because I know
where's Ricky when we need her?
According to the AAPRP, it began on April 15th with African Freedom Day, but it's usually celebrated around this weekend. May 25th. And I know there are several events happening obviously in the DC Baltimore area, but
Ricky said, are you coming today, Jared, for the event?
Today? No.
Ricky, post the event one more time in the chat. Somebody said that the chat thing on the side, Jared, is a distraction. Can you take it down?
Oh, all right.
I guess they can't do more than one thing at a time. It's okay though.
I like it.
I liked it too.
So then why are we listening to them? Put it back. Put it back.
And see, y'all said I was mean. It's really Jared. He's the real villain.
I am. We didn't know that.
I totally missed that. Somebody said what? Take what now?
The chat, they said, is distracting.
Oh.
I want to know why Robin thinks it's not my real response. I don't take care of men. Men should take care of their goddamn selves. And they should be able to take care of me too. Why would I be taking care of them?
You remember when I just said that
folks should check out LSR.
You put root in the game. That's what you did.
How do you put root in the game?
Repeat what you just said.
Why would I be taking care of a man? They should take care of themselves, and me included. What do you mean? I think this is just my personal belief.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Whenever you get on this mic and you talk about fans, like you can influence and you put these things in the atmosphere. It's energy, and you're convincing people to like, yeah, I can do that too. Yeah, I should.
I would love to be the anti-alpha male podcast. So, I have no problem.
Well, what about just the regular male? Wouldn't the non-alpha male? What is the?
I just think that if someone is approaching me, like if there is interest there, then you should already know that you need to come together and have enough money to do the things that you want to do.
Oh, money. Okay. Gotcha.
So if you're trying to date, you can't be broke trying to date me. That's not how it works. And you also should have your shit together.
Broke.
And there's only been a few times where I let somebody slide with not having their shit together, and it always went left. It always went left.
What part of the shit together did you have to have? Do you have to have your shit together too, or it don't matter because they taking care of you?
I have my shit together.
Oh, I'm just trying to figure.
Perfect. Let's be honest. Like, stop tripping.
Lord Jesus.
I definitely have my shit together.
All right, back to the news.
No. Let's stay where we are. Let's stay right where we are, because
this break has been brought to you by the dating pool with Casamigo and piss in it.
So this is the event that
cool.
From Black Alliance for Peace today, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Payne Memorial AME Church in Baltimore, African Liberation Day.
Oh, a symposium, period.
Yeah. And here are all the details. So, and I know there are more. Because sometimes it gets because I'm not tapped in enough, and I get all these emails. There's like all these different area organizations that have various African Liberation Day events in this area, but I definitely encourage and support them, even if I'm doing it from a bit of a distance myself. But
I think there's actually a really good discussion happening in the chat right now that we should all hop into, because Zenzi said, if you're broke, the last thing you should be thinking about in general is dating. And I feel like we kind of tapped into this last time when I talked about how this nigga that likes me does not have
wait. Slow down. So it sounds like this argument that they were saying that Charlemagne and all these other like broke niggas shouldn't have sex or something like that. They don't deserve sex.
That's not what I said.
Well, I'm saying that's what it sounds. I didn't say that's what I said. That I started off with sounds like. It sounds like
it's dating. Having casual sex is not the same thing as dating. I think that people.
So what is dating though? It don't cost money to go to the park.
Casual sex are very different things. Dating is I'm taking someone out on dates with the intention of getting to know them to properly build a relationship. Having casual sex is I'm just having sex with them. That's totally different. I don't have any problem with people getting their rocks off. Do what you want to do. That's your decision to make. I think that people have to be responsible. And if you're struggling, you should not be trying to date people. You should be kind of getting yourself together so that you don't stress yourself out even more, because I'm not high maintenance, but I do have basic standards, and you're not going to be able to meet those if you're not making good money. Like, it's just not realistic. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. I think people should already have it together. Because I'm not dating people for meals. Like, I have money. I don't have to go out on dates with people to eat. So I'm not trying to do the typical shit that other people are trying to do. I'm trying to go on trips and stuff. So,
well, you got the money. Why are you trying to go? You got money, right? You got your shit together. So yes, it do. If you're going on trips, then if you got the money, then you can pay your way. If he can't make it, then he can't make it, right?
No, I think that I wouldn't be dating that person.
Lord Jesus. All right. Let's break this.
Not traditional women. It makes the traditional women date broke all the time. Lion, please be serious. I know you got to be a troll, because there's no way you have watched me on this show and know that I'm a date a broke nigga. Come on now. Let's be serious.
That's the other point, man. I'm surprised it's coming on this channel. All this classism, wild shit.
That's true. They could have it together.
No, but you not according to what you just said. That's why I was pushing
back. I think that you should date within like your comfortability. And then
in your class, you saying you start my class.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said you should date within your comfortability. So what you're comfortable spending money or spending time on. You shouldn't do more than what you can handle.
In your class is what you're saying. Date within your class.
I don't think that's not how I date. So
that's what you said. If you don't have this amount of money, you need to stop dating and get your shit together. So you have to move.
I do think you should come up here, because Geechee is full of shit. I didn't say anything.
Why I gotta be full of shit? I'm responding to this prompt that you created. I ain't created this prompt.
Your comfortability. What level are you comfortable with? Because I, in dating, have dated people who only want to go on trips.
This sounds like the buying power argument.
I've also dated people who don't have a passport and can't afford to do stuff like that. That's not a thing for me. I think that you should do what you're comfortable with. So I like to have conversations with people like, hey, when you're dating, what does that look like for you? So that I can prepare myself so I know what they're into. But I date people of different classes all the time. So I don't think I think that being comfortable in what you're doing and not stressing yourself out is more important than saying that you don't date people of a certain like tax bracket, because I don't do that. I date people of any class. It doesn't matter.
This is the black.
So if I can just interrupt this for a moment.
You have something valuable to add, Jared?
Not to this. But I did there are a couple other things that I just wanted to make sure that I worked in before we got out of here this morning. and one of them relates to the story, the other issue of
Oh yeah.
the killing of the Israeli supporters at the Jewish Museum the other night. And you know, this claim that there is, well, part of the narrative ends up becoming that the attack was anti-Semitic, that this is a part of the violence of the Palestinian supporters, violence of the left, and all these other kind of things. But they leave out a lot of the important political connections that are being made here, or that are not being made here, that do in fact exist. So, for instance, when Trump is telling President Ramaphosa that there's a white genocide happening in South Africa, as Assad Issa says here, this is cruelly ironic, although I don't think that this is actually irony. It's just a contradiction and a paradoxical twist, but whatever. We get the point. Long story short is that, of course, white folks are not suffering a genocide anywhere, much less in South Africa, where they still, at only 7% of the population, have 72% of the country's farmland, compared to the 4% Black Africans have, despite being 81% of the population there. But then also the claim with the bringing of these 54 white refugees, as they're called, to the U.S., was more than just fear-mongering. Even prior to Trump's return to the White House, the Biden administration had made its displeasure known over Pretoria's decision to take Israel to the International Court of Justice on the charge of genocide. And I think this is a really good point that the author here is making about this claim of white genocide and the connection I'm attempting to make to this, the killing in DC the other night. That on the one hand, there is this genocide that Israel is playing out against Palestinians. On the other hand, the flip side of it is that South Africa had tried to raise this at the level of a charge of genocide at the International Criminal Court, and South Africa and its defenders, including Israel and the United States, not South Africa, the Israel and the United States, defender of the genocide and Zionism, wanted to call out South Africa for that and punish South Africa for that. So part of this white genocide claim is part of their attempt to re-narrate the situation, to attack a country that was calling out Zionist Israel and the United States. Israel, too, as the author says here, has used its lobbyists in an attempt to dent South Africa's reputation in Washington. And what better obfuscation could there be than Washington accusing South Africa itself of conducting a genocide? Earlier this year, the South African government passed a land expropriation law in an effort to reduce unequal distribution of land. And again, long story short, nobody's land is being taken without law. There has been no quote unquote severe impact on property rights. And in fact, that's one of the criticisms of this legal scholar, who is saying that even the law that attempts to offer some redistribution of land to compensate for the centuries of abusive theft of that land is itself insufficient in addressing that imbalance. And yet it's being, the opposite is being claimed. Not only is it being said to be sufficient, but it's being said to be going too far and to be, in fact, a genocide against whites.
Right.
So, yeah. Lastly, just real quick, I just wanted to add this stat here. 38% of Black South Africans are reported as being unemployed, as opposed to only 8% of white South Africans. So, yeah.
So I saw this one where I guess it's a Bakra African who said that Trump is just on his weird shit. But I'm a white American living in South Africa. There's no white genocide here. That is a figment of Trump's fevered
No, thank you for that,
imagination.
Geechee, because we need the good white source for this. It's not enough to have black sources. You need white sources for this.
You're gonna listen to them people.
Yeah.
I lived in 7 countries, visited 30. Nowhere else have I experienced a high degree of white privilege. So
wow,
if the white person said it, that means it got to be true. So
the highest degree of white privilege. God damn.
So, yeah.
There it is. So
Jared, that's not a very diplomatic response of you. They said you're real diplomatic.
that I'm being diplomatic.
They said that you're real diplomatic, but then that wasn't a very diplomatic response. Then, god damn.
I'm very diplomatic though in general. Yes, I'll try to get back on character because I want to
Yeah,
be.
they said they need you to
diplomatic.
start giving more dating advice because I'm unmarried and single, so I shouldn't be giving any dating advice. So they need you to.
I gave my dating advice. Grab onto the first person that shows interest and hold on tight. Don't let go.
Don't chase the one that don't want you.
Yeah. As soon she just smiled at me and I was like locked in. She just smiled and I was like, ah.
That's all it took.
That's all it took. Yeah. Be less picky. Give in. Suppress your own interests.
Be accountable. Be responsible.
I don't think that I'm picky.
No, I'm just playing.
But I do feel like I definitely have a what is it called? What's the word?
Maybe Betty. What?
What, Geechee?
Brittany said, "What if he has 2 kids and a bitter baby mama? That ain't your man."
I don't have a problem. I mean, I've dated niggas with 4 kids. I don't think that that's what matters here. I will say that I have a very
matters for her. That's why she put it up there.
Like kind of contentious relationship with class solidarity in the way of hood niggas pissing me the fuck off. But it actually has nothing to do with the amount of money they make. It's the way that they act. Like I have encountered really just stupid ass hood niggas who think they can talk to me any kind of way. And it makes it very hard for me in organizing because some of them were people we were organizing with for something. And so I definitely have class solidarity issues with that because I've been ready to go the fuck off on them. And it's a lot saving me. So much is saving me from saying what I really want to say a lot of times. But that has nothing to do with dating them. That's literally just the way they act. I find that some of them just act really fucking disrespectful and think they can just talk to you any kind of way because what's an En Vogue fan mean?
En Vogue, I used to have a crush on Dawn from En Vogue. It's not that Honey Dip would want to get with me, but just in case I got more condoms than TLC.
Yeah.
Okay.
And salute, I think Dawn, if I see the headlines correctly, she's in some struggled state of finance or something right now. So speaking of all of this, not that I'm in a position to help. It's everything, Listen.
Y'all shouldn't be thanking Jared for changing the subject because I was giving solid advice. Anyways, yeah, when Geechee was talking about the class thing, though, it made me think about how I feel about class solidarity with stupid hood niggas.
Oh boy, stupid hood.
You know what's interesting? I've suffered a reverse form of that because of the way I've often come across. Mixed, light skin, speak well, so handsome and beautiful. I often come across as coming from a class position I don't actually have or have come from. And I've lost a number of potential some kind of partners because they were telling me, you're not a thug enough for me. You are too bougie and too academic and too intellectual. And then I would be trying to in whatever way I could say, you're right, I'm not a super thug, but I'm really not that evolved either. And I like you. So they would tell me, those from actually my similar class position who would think I was from a higher class position. They were like, nah, man, I need someone from down here. And I'm like, but I am. I'm just corny and goofy, but I am.
Get out of that dating pool, Casamigos and P. Hey, Kevin Rashid update, yo.
I do have that. How did you know I had that?
Because you put it in the chat.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Okay, my bad. I forgot. I was about to say
we're paying attention. We're locked in. Okay.
That's fascinating. So
see, this one grade that I had right here, I don't want it like yours.
I did.
What one grade?
I do have this update. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Oh, man, I don't want to show y'all my shit.
Nah, you can put your whole face in the camera, might as well.
Nah, I can't. I might have plucked it. It might have fell off.
I pulled it right here this morning because that jump was out of my. It came out the twist, and I'm not finna redo the twist. I plucked that hoe. I don't know what to tell you.
I love my gray. It's a sign that I've made it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have white hair. But go ahead.
The only gray I want is like when people have like a really solid streak. And I have a good kind of streak coming in right now. It was very sparse for like 5 years. And like over the last year, it's kind of coming together. So I think that'll look really cool once it comes together.
So this update from Kevin Rashid Johnson's support network. Again, please check out rashidmod.com for more on Kevin. Rashidmod.com. Poet, author, artist, someone who is a politicized prisoner, as I think some would like to have tried to draw the distinction. But Rashid has been thrown into solitary confinement in South Carolina, again, in retaliation for our phone email campaign supporting him. He is restricted to 2 handwritten letters per month, no phone or email access. He has restarted his hunger strike and is asking all of us to increase our phone calls and emails to prison officials not to back down, and with the details below. And I'll put it in the chat because they've supplied, a very easy set of links to follow. So you can just, click and send off some mass emails. And then you can also make phone calls and support. But on Monday, May 19th, Rashid was using the toilet with the lights out when a woman sergeant put her face in the window of his cell and asked him to turn the lights on. He replied that he was using the toilet, but she continued to stand there with her face in the window for 30 to 45 seconds. The toilet is right next to the cell window with the toilet bowl adjacent to the cell door. After he pulled his pants on, he turned the light back on. There is a security camera that points directly to his cell and should show that the sergeant was peering into his window in direct violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, which generally prohibits non-medical staff from cross-gender viewing of prisoners' private body parts, including when they're using the toilet. So this is just one example of some of the more latest abuses. He is currently sleeping on a concrete slab about 6 inches from the ground. Thankfully, this time he has clothes, a jumpsuit, boxer shorts, socks, and Crocs. He cannot make phone calls or send messages to anyone. There are no materials in his cell, so he is forced to sit in his cell all day with absolutely nothing to do. He restarted his hunger strike on May 20th. His leg is still stiff and still hurts when he bounces on it, and he can't run, but he feels like it is mending, no longer limping when he walks. The prison has given him the property he accumulated since he arrived at Perry, but has withheld all of the property from Keene Mountain, about 30 boxes of documents. They stole most of his legal mail, including 2 packages I recently sent him. Grievances had been prepared, some Westlaw legal notes, stationery, etc. So if
are you gonna post the links in the chat too?
Yeah, I am.
We're doing
gonna do that.
Another reason to hate and organize South Carolina, because weird.
They with the shit. That's where they locked Brittany up in South Carolina. When she was pregnant, it was a girl from South Carolina that was pregnant who's like in like some of our movement groups or whatever. And one of my friends is really good friends with her. And the whole time she was in jail, she was pregnant. They made her cut her locks off. Like, they be fucking wilding, bro.
Yeah. So.
And when I was in jail, they went over that prisoner rape thing, but they didn't go into detail like that. I didn't know that was included. I never went back and read the law, so I didn't even know what it actually said. But the girl was just like, yeah, the prisoner rape thing act says that nothing is consensual, so don't do it. And I said, okay. That wasn't helpful, but all right.
Yeah, so
is it legal to limit? Somebody said the limiting the number of letters somebody can send is nuts. Is that legal to limit the amount of letters someone can send?
I honestly don't know what each state's or federal law says about all of this, and it also seems as though they can at least try to get away with whatever. No, the links work. You gotta, because I've used them just this morning. So just make sure you're copying and pasting them correctly when you're doing it. And I'll go ahead and put the links directly in the show description here as well, so folks can just click directly from there if they prefer. But maybe that'll make it a little easier. By the way, please make sure you like, share, subscribe. To support Kevin Rashid Johnson. So yeah, the links are now in the show description, and you
Somebody
can.
else is saying it's not working for them. Make sure that y'all don't copy the whole thing because it cuts off at a certain point.
Yeah, again, just use the links in the show description then, because, and I'll just double check because I actually used them this morning, so I know that they do work. And
Leah, some people aren't listening in real time. When I'm watching,
yeah, they work.
When I'm watching on YouTube, I like pull it up to the top of my phone, and sometimes I walk away and it might go to the side and stop playing, so the timing gets turned off. So I don't think they're trying to comment like late. I think it's just showing up late for them.
So yeah, folks, if you refresh, the links do work. They're in the show description. You can call, and the email thing, they've really gotten sophisticated with these things. It's super easy now. And you send off through the little form they have a bunch of emails to everybody.
Yeah, I still don't use those though because I don't believe that the impact is as much as they think that it is. So I still send them separately, and I encourage people to do that too. I was like, you can use this script, but still send the email yourself, because since I do a lot of policy work, I know that most of these like state and government buildings have all those sites blocked. And so when they try to send emails, most of them don't even get them. Are you processing what I said, Jared?
No, I'm looking to I'm on to something else. But
you like he was really thinking, like he was really in your head.
No, I mean, I get it. I just don't know to what extent.
Yeah, Jay just said something about it in the chat. They put keywords in their email settings to automatically go to the deleted folder. I also know that because I know a lot of people who work for state reps and work in these government buildings who like are their assistants, and their assistants are the ones who set it up. So I know that they're deleting them if they're coming from like Action Network, 5 calls, all those things. So I just like, if I have time, instead of using the automatic form, I'll just go ahead and send the email myself. Like I'll just copy the script.
But if what you're saying is correct, but if they're using a language and word search, then that tactic won't help either. Then those emails will get.
They're using the word that is sent from. So like it shows that it's sent from Action Network or 5 calls or other automatic sites. They're automatically in like the from line. So they're deleting that.
Okay.
And I agree with Russell. We do need to have more ways that are not tech-based. I think that a part of like building mutual aid and support should look like doing things more in person. We've been doing like these letter writing campaigns for political prisoners. We've been writing letters to them like every Wednesday with the org that I'm in, so that they're still getting consistent like communication from people. That's not just I'm sending an email on your behalf, but like I'm actually communicating directly to you. And also going up to the jail or the prison, because I've done that a few times with groups too. So I do think we should move to more like actual in-person things that aren't just tech-based. So people know their support, regardless of if I'm sending a letter, like you see the actual support because we're pulling up at the actual prison. Do you know where the prison is?
Not exactly, other than the state of South Carolina.
Okay. Winston was asking where the prison is. It's in South Carolina.
But the links in the show description will take folks to all that information. And RashidMod.com for more on Russell Maroon shows. I'm just reading his on Kevin Rashid Johnson. The tech is killing prisoners, and they think they're coming up via the tech. Yeah, no, tech, I'm not arguing is changing the game. I was merely suggesting in this one instance it would be helpful in sending these mass emails. But Amber raises a good point.
Yeah, I just think that we should do all the things, because none of this stuff takes a lot of time. And I also find that like once people have done it, once they realize it doesn't take a lot of time, then they're more willing to take action in multiple ways. And the most valuable thing that we have is time. So if you aren't willing to give up like an hour or two standing outside of prison, then like, do you really care about Black liberation?
Although I hope we don't judge it that way. I don't know how many people are spending time outside of prisons. You might be
I mean,
right, but
like
it's
for an
not a
actual
lot.
event. I mean, like for
Yeah.
an actual event or something, not like,
Yeah.
just randomly. But I think that like that's a very small sacrifice to make. Like I'm literally not in prison, so the smallest thing I can do is at least support someone who is.
Yeah. Anyway, so as far as I'm concerned, that was it. I have no more contributions. So if
We
there's
talked through those
stuff,
so quickly. You sure? You should get all of your analysis out.
yes,
I just want to make sure you feel fulfilled because I
I
care
do.
about the Black man.
Thank
You
you.
know,
Thank you very much.
I'm not a class warrior as a street.
Thank you. So I will.
Perry is near Greenville, South Carolina, so it's not too far from. Well, I guess I'm in it.
We can take a road trip, Geechee.
Okay. Don't it take you a long time to get to Atlanta?
You ain't gonna do it, huh?
Don't it take you a long time to get to Atlanta?
It's 6 hours away, but really we can meet there. Like I'm gonna drive to Greenville, you can drive to Greenville, we can meet there and start the protest outside.
Wait, you're not close to Greenville?
No, I can drive.
Oh,
yeah, Stono, he's in Perry now.
Yeah, Perry Correction isn't in there, Greenville, or in Greenville County at least.
Yeah, I agree with Monty. There
north
are
of
events that bring people to prisons. I participated in like vigils for death row inmates when we were doing like some campaigns to get some folks off of death row. I participated in those, and I will say like they weren't as extra as I thought they would be. Like I thought that they would be like super heavily secured, but it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. So I didn't feel like I was already uncomfortable being in a prison, but I wasn't like on edge as much as I thought I would be. But I do think they're impactful because the people out like in the prison can hear you.
So folks near Richmond, Virginia can participate in this rally against prison abuse that Kevin is championing. So yeah, that's tomorrow at to shut down Red Onion and Wallens Ridge. So here's the information on all of that.
You gonna put that in the chat too?
I can. Or I'll just put it in the show description so that
somebody in the chat has once again asked, can we read the BAP statement on the shooting? I just want to say I asked about this earlier, so it's not my fault. But I did ask if someone could share the statement, Ricky, and we could read it, but no one shared it, so we didn't read it. Since y'all said that we're not serious and all we care about is jokes, I tried to be serious, but it didn't happen.
That's the accountability you be taking in your in your dating.
I do.
Not me. It's not me.
As I gaslight, I also
you lit a whole bunch of gases now. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I wasn't gaslighting Ricky. I was gaslighting the person who commented again.
Oh, gaslight.
It's like
and you threw up us under the bus too, though.
I grew up something. What?
You threw us up under the bus.
How I throw you under the bus? If you felt thrown, then you might as well just lay out.
But I have a gripe with Black Alliance for Peace.
What's your gripe?
My gripe is how come for all the time they spend and participate in Black Liberation Media, how come the YouTube platform that's highlighted on their front page is Belly the Beast?
Who is Belly the Beast?
I don't know. They have, I'm sure they're great because they hosted this conversation, but I'm just curious how is Black Liberation Media not featured more prominently, given all the interaction between the support and the overlap, But other than that, I don't see the statement here. I don't know if it was meant to be on the front page. I was looking for the statement.
Jared sound like me when I was on Democracy Now! He said you didn't mention that you were on a Remix Morning job.
You're right. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, how dare you go on Democracy Now! And then not
45 seconds.
I know. No, apparently there's a BAP statement on the shooting at the Jewish Museum. I thought that's what.
Yeah, Monty. Ricky said that there's.
Why is that throwing stones? A loving, light criticism is throwing stones.
You just click BAP statements and then boom.
Yeah, Monty, Ricky said there was a statement that y'all had
Alliance.
about the shooting that specifically
Peace.
talked about some of the talking points we were
Where-
talking about earlier. So
have
Well,
you found the link, Geechee?
Well, I found the statements,
Ricky
but
said
it's
it's not
I'm trying to
on
find.
the. Ricky said it's not about the shooting.
Oh,
But they did just share
Oh.
a statement.
The what now? It's not about the shooting.
It's not about the shooting.
So what statement are we supposed to be sharing now?
I don't know. Somebody was yelling at us in the chat
Okay.
talking about we won't read it, but
I told you I thought they were good. I still think all the BAP appearances here should get.
I'm saying what is the
you know?
statement that somebody asked to be shared from BAP? That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Stono. Finally, somebody's got it. I can do no wrong. Leave me alone.
Not you got fans. You want to be like me so bad. Anyway.
I do. I really do. I do.
Which one
Your freedom and popularity is quite worthy of.
This is the one, I think.
Well, I'm saying, but which
Indeed.
statement was asked to be shared?
The person was talking about the shooting. The person said, "Can we please read the BAP statement on the shooting?" That's exactly what they said.
Well, I'm saying I thought Ricky was in the chat. Said
Ricky
that there's
said
a
that there
BAP
is
statement.
no statement on the shooting. So I think the other person should shut up.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Is this the link we're supposed to be reading?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Listen to what I was saying first.
Yeah,
The final solution was So the statement that Ricky was talking about, who said share, was up there just now.
So go ahead and read it, Jared.
Read it where?
The statement.
I'll pull it up.
When they just posted.
I don't have this.
It's right here. It's right here, Jared. There you go. Boom.
So you have
they
it.
are not-
Make
Ricky,
it.
they
So
not
you
okay.
read it. You got the
Go
link
ahead-
and
go
pull it
ahead,
up.
Erica,
Read
read
it and make it. And can you make it bigger? Can you make the text bigger?
And what's wild is you niggas the only ones who even got the ability to share and stuff. So I wasn't gonna share the statement regardless because y'all don't even give me admin access.
You keep saying y'all. I have nothing to do with that, despite the often misrepresented.
I just think that you need to use your patriarchal male privilege to make sure that there is equality on our
Don't forget
show.
the light skin. Don't forget the
Especially
light
light
patriarchal
skin-
male light skin.
too.
Mm.
Yeah. Especially if you know that I'm the star of the show. Why would you
I
not make sure
know.
your star has everything they need in the green room? It ain't.
You're right. You're
Amber,
right.
as
When
a-
you're right,
as a-
you're right.
As a star, Amber, go ahead and read the statement, please.
But can you make
I
the
can't
text
read
bigger?
that. I can't even see what that shit says.
Hold on, how you do that?
I can't see it either, and I even
got
with my
eyes,
bifocal, I can't adjust. I can't lift my head.
Nigga
I
said
can't
we need
look
a
high. I
doctor.
can't.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn my
You don't know
camera
how to
off.
make text bigger on the thing?
I really on my computer I do. I just touch the screen, but I don't know what.
You don't know how to make text bigger on your browser? Are you serious?
I don't think so.
Son,
I don't see
put
it.
the link in it. Is the link in the private chat? This
Yeah.
is embarrassing.
It's so
This is why we
insane, like-
this is why we not free. This is it right here.
Mhm.
Geechee
This is
can't make. We was
slavery.
about to be free, but Geechee can't make the text bigger.
No, literally, I use my laptop and you could just touch the screen and make it bigger.
And without that ability, you just lost.
I don't-
After that, you just lost.
All right, I got the story pulled up. Black Alliance for Peace condemns the U.S. and Israeli final solution for Gaza in the West Bank. Justice demands action against Zionism, not hypocritical rhetoric from the states of the West. Quotation marks around that.
Are you
Justice
about to
not-
read this whole thing? Oh, it's not that
You know,
long. Okay, my
I'm
bad.
gonna
Okay,
read
go
it because these motherfuckers have said to read it in the chat about 8 million times. And I'm sick of this shit.
Not these motherfuckers.
So, just as Nazi Germany sought the total elimination of Jewish life, the state of Israel, with full U.S. support, is now openly pursuing the systematic annihilation of the people of Gaza. This is some good writing. The acceleration of mass displacement in the West Bank and the denial of Palestinian nationhood itself. Those who dare to speak out are vilified, censored, or stripped of their livelihoods, ensuring complicity through the coercion. The Black Alliance for Peace rejects this moral and political blackmail. True solidarity demands courage, refusing to be silenced or pacified as we witness, document, and resist this ongoing genocide. History will judge not only the perpetrators, but also those who stood by in cowardly silence. I know that's right. Y'all eating. BAP would not allow false accusations of anti-Semitism to be cynically weaponized as a political tool to suppress dissent, shield Israel from accountability, and provide cover for cowards in Western governments. The prevention of genocide is a duty of all humanity, and threats and symbolic gestures are not enough. The foreign ministers of Australia, Canada, Belgium, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and United Kingdom issued a statement this week condemning Israel for depriving Palestinians in Gaza of urgently needed humanitarian aid, while the state of Israel, as an occupying power, has a legal responsibility to provide aid. Simply providing aid is not the issue. Israel imposed the blockade of food, water, fuel, and medicine, creating and perpetuating ethnic cleansing, a genocidal act, a crime that most of the Western powers have supported by either giving material aid to Israel or doing nothing to prevent these war crimes. Now, the UK, Canada, and France have issued a late, ineffectual, and hypocritical call for Israel to allow aid into Gaza. Yet, at this late stage, they fall short of taking any legitimate action to stop the continuous unfolding horror. Baby, who wrote this? Ricky? It's good, girl. The Genocide Convention is clear. States have a responsibility to prevent and punish the crime of genocide. As the states of the West are unwilling to prevent and punish genocide, and they have shown time and time again that they are, then more decisive action is needed. The project of the Zionist occupation is premised on the destruction of Palestinian life, culture, and community. It is the Zionist occupation's existence in this form that has resulted in this 19-month-long genocidal campaign, an emerging final solution against the Palestinian people. The current positions of the states of the West that call for aid while legitimizing the occupation of Palestine will at best enable limited and momentary relief, while ensuring the maintenance of this white supremacist genocidal project. Instead, there must be immediate and concrete measures taken against the racist, fascist, Zionist occupation that goes by the name of Israel. Arms embargo, economic sanctions, suspension of credit, goods produced from any part of Israel, and the arrest and prosecution of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders, and further warrants for other genocide enablers such as Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Yeah. I do have questions about that. Ricky will come back to it. Those with the power to do so can either take such measures or abdicate their humanity. Palestine will not be free until Zionism, along with all white supremacist ideologies, is defeated. BAP will continue to do everything in its power to ensure the final defeat of global white supremacy that is materially grounded in imperialism. We have chosen the side of humanity. Our lives, like the lives of Palestinians, are intrinsically bound by this historical imperative. I do have a question though. So, as abolitionists, do we believe that like they should lock them up or they should just kill them? Which one is it?
You asking?
I'm asking Ricky and y'all because
no, that's what I'm saying. The context is like, did you you just read what they don't want, and then you're asking what they do want? Is that what you're doing now?
No, this says the arrest and prosecution of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders. It says they want them to be, it says, instead, there must be immediate and concrete measures taken against the racist, fascist, Zionist occupation and the arrest and prosecution of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israel leaders, and further warrants for other genocide enablers such as Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That's locking them up and prosecuting them. So I'm asking, as like abolitionists, do we believe that that is the solution? Oh, is BAP not abolitionist? Oh, okay, Ricky. Girl, I ain't even know. A lot of the niggas I know in BAP are abolitionists. So
really,
that's why I asked.
That's actually kind of surprising.
I'm about to say I thought Monty agreed with some abolition stuff too. So yeah, they just said in the chat they believe in some.
I really think that because this is my point. We talked about this on the show Wednesday. I really think folks need to sit with what they mean when they say abolitionists. Same thing with feminists and all those other things, because I think it just means everything and nothing at this point.
No, David, can we abolish you? The fuck? Anyways, yeah, I think that he said, can we abolish this conversation? And I just said we should abolish him. I think that people identifying as abolitionists have different views too, though. I've like encountered people who say they identify as abolitionists, but they believe in some type of punishment. So I don't think that to me, it doesn't make sense. But that's my own personal view. And I don't usually assume people are abolitionists. I just know some people in BAP who are. So I thought that they were. But that makes
Wait, are you defining abolition as just simply removing punishment or corporal systems?
No, I was asking because it says arrest and prosecution, and most people who are abolitionists don't believe in carceral systems, so they wouldn't want the arrest and prosecution of someone. They would want a different solution. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure. Like I don't even know what the most people even believe when they say they're abolitionists. Because if you're abolishing what, then what are you building? And then when you building, what kind of systems you have placed, with policy you have in place? That's so when I say here abolition, I don't be like, I don't really know.
Yeah. I agree with what Dre said. He says, I'm an abolitionist, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in violence against colonizers. I definitely believe in violence. I actually would say I'm more anarchist in some ways too. I believe in real good violence, like put some tires around somebody's body and set them on fire. I think that's a great deterrent. But that's
here's what Ricky says in response to you trying to have a conversation with bad people.
I'm asking a general question.
I don't know.
I think it depends on like what the person identifies as. I only asked about in the statement because I know people in BAP who are abolitionists, so I thought that the org was. But since it's not, it makes sense. So
yeah, they were saying how they're a mass org, so there might be a few people in there.
People have different beliefs.
Identify, yeah. But so do you identify as an abolition? You say an abolitionist, or how do you define your abolitionism?
Yeah, I identify as abolitionist, and the orgs that I'm in are abolitionist-based orgs. So,
and what I'm saying, how do you define your abolitionism? Like somebody asked me that the other day, and I was like, I put a question mark initially because I like that's a broad question. I don't know what it means, and we was just talking about like what I would engage in building, but like how do you define your abolitionism?
Abolitionism is crazy. To me, I don't personally believe in carceral systems. I think that we should be able to, like, as communities, define like what that looks like for us, but I don't believe in punishment as a response. I mean, I think even what we were talking about earlier with like spanking kids, like to me, that's all included in abolition, because I wouldn't be violent towards my kids and then say, oh, but I'm an abolitionist. That doesn't make sense, because that's still some form of violence or punishment. I believe in abolishing all carceral systems. I don't believe in prisons or jails. I don't believe in child protective services. I don't believe in a lot of stuff because a lot of it is weaponized. It is not used to keep people safe. So I don't believe in them.
So in terms of like consequences, if there's consequences, and if you say that you don't like it because they don't keep people safe, if there's a method to do it, to hold people accountable for particular things, or deliver consequences without it being, harmful to the people, like, would you then agree with it then? So if somebody did something, somebody
in the chat made a good point too, that abolition isn't anti-violence. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm against system doing that. I think the community should be able to decide what a solution looks like for themselves. Like, we practice transformative justice here, and I've gone through like a lot of transformative justice training about how to form those kinds of like groups within a community, so that communities can decide what they want to happen after something violent happens. But I don't think there should be a system that decides that, because I also don't feel like those systems respond to that. Just like when I was on Democracy Now! And they were asking me like, what do people want? I want the police to be abolished, because there's no justice in a court system. We know them niggas killed Tyree Nichols. To me, true justice looks like they getting their ass beat. They getting fucked up just like Tyree was. They need to be treated the exact same way. That's what true justice looks like to me. But it doesn't like that to his family. His family wants him to go to jail. So that's why I'm saying, like, for each person is different. And I think that you also have to be able to contend with someone might not want the type of violence you want. Like, I want them niggas to get their ass beat. His family wants him to go to jail. So when you're doing transformative justice, you also have to be able to talk with people about what solution they want from the harm they experience, and be able to accept yourself what that person chooses, because the community might choose something different. I might want something, and then the community might say, well, no, that's not what we want. And you have to be able to contend with that.
But that would be a system though. That would be creating a system to address the particular thing. So
no, it's not a system, it's community.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, like, so even if you say you're not for violence, then that means when somebody are violent.
I didn't say I wasn't for violence. I said that abolition isn't anti-violence, and I agree with that. I don't think that abolition means anti-violence. I think that means that I don't want someone to go to prison because I don't believe in prisons. That doesn't mean I don't want that person to experience some kind of violence.
Yeah, follow my train. So you said punishment. That's what the word you was using. So for instance, when those police or whatever in the system that you would create, if those police or somebody harm somebody, you don't want to punish them. You want to do something else with them. Is what you're saying.
I'm not saying I don't want to punish them. I'm saying that I want the people who experience the harm to be able to decide that. I think that for me, it's very empowering for communities to decide what they want to happen when something happens to them. And a lot of times we take that choice away from them by saying, oh, let's just arrest them. Or, oh, we're not gonna do anything about that because they're just police officers. Like, I think that people should be able to make that choice for themselves. And that's very empowering for them to experience that. And also, as like abolitionist practitioners, we have to be able to accept what people choose for themselves because not everybody chooses the same thing. I was reading this really good article that talked about like how some communities in the 70s used to handle like rapists in their community, and that like as a community, they would like if someone like raped someone, they would like put tires around their body and set them on fire, and then niggas stop raping people. And I think that that's a good deterrent, and that's violent. But some people would be like, oh no, that's too much. Just depends.
I think I would love for your I can't remember. Ricky probably knows the article, but her article around abolitionism, I would love for you to read that and hear your thoughts of it, because I think it's a pretty fascinating article in the argument around how abolitionism or abolition is defined. So I'll share it.
I think the abolition means different things. I think abolition, especially over the last few years, it's also evolved in a lot of ways. It means different things to different people. And not all of it, when I ask someone more questions, not all of it sounds like abolition to me. But I mean, I'm not into like critiquing every single thing someone thinks. Like, I'm not that kind of person. So I just like to ask people questions, and then, you know, if that's what they feel, then that's what they feel.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you this one in the link, but I would love for you to, because I think sometimes we like critique is good, right? Have a conversations is good, but this is the one that Ricky wrote. Was it last year?
Can you send the link to me?
Yeah, link. But yeah, I think I anytime I have
we know he can't make the text bigger, but he can send you the link.
We know. I also wrote an article about abolition.
Huh? You did?
I also wrote an article about abolition.
Oh, well, I'm gonna read yours and see how they compare. It'll be interesting. I think it's a broader.
I don't think that someone in the chat said we need our own privatized police force. I don't think that. I think that community defense can be just that. It doesn't have to be a police force. I think
we don't get caught up on words. Like when you say police, what are you saying? Because for instance, if you have people who are engaging in a particular way of protecting the community, you might consider them police, and you might be saying something different. So police who's engaged in property protecting versus peacekeeping officers might be a totally different interaction with community. And so I think sometimes we just broadly think when somebody say police, we thinking of the American context of police. Same thing with politics. When we say policy, they think about American terms of political engagement. And I think sometimes we be using different words.
I think that that's charged language, and to me, I don't like using it. And I also think that it adds a level of authority that makes people act a certain way. And I think that when you use language that's communal centered, like what your community wants, then people don't think that they're higher or have more authority in any way than someone else. And I think that's what starts the corruption, is that the idea of like, well, I have this authority because I'm a community police officer, like stuff like that. Like, I think that is really what starts the issues that we see. So I don't like using language like that, because I want everyone to feel like they have the same equal like power in the situation. Even like when it comes to like community meetings that we have here, a lot of times there'll be like kids and youth there. People be like, well, don't they want to go somewhere else? And their parents are like, no, they want to be here because youth voices should be heard too. And I think that we add levels of who can be in the room and who has certain authority or who should be heard, and we don't even think about how that's harmful. So I don't like words like that or language like that, because I do think how it can turn into something else. Why Jared smiling?
No reason.
You just love
I'm just
when I get
happy to
my
be on. I'm
political
just
analysis.
that, and I'm just always happy to be on the Remix Morning Show on Black Liberation Media, the greatest morning show in the history of all media, on what is arguably the greatest, at least, effort at a platform in the history of modern media. So please make sure everyone is supporting in whatever way they can. Like, share, subscribe. Put this in your Patreon, or support the Patreon. I should say, put this link in your socials. And why don't you like to see me happy? Well, then you would, but you only see me happy. I am only happy.
He's always happy when he's on here with me. I don't know.
Always happy when on screen with Amber, and happy throughout the rest of my day, week, and life, knowing that the next Friday I'll be on with her again. So it's like a permanent.
Let them guide your life all throughout the week, and you get yelled at by your daughters, and your wife tells you what to do.
You know, nobody yells, but I am very well instructed.
I like that. I like that. You know, I love a man who can follow instructions. I just feel like that'll do it for me.
Interesting. You know, this is actually so in all seriousness, we were having a discussion. My wife and I were talking with our oldest daughter about relationships, and she was asking us, our daughter was asking us about the longevity of our relationship, and you know, how we've done it, and this, that, and the third. And we were talking about, in fact, it even was somewhat in the context of the Diddy trial, because we were talking about warning signs that, and trusting your gut. And my wife told a story that she didn't even know I remembered, but I do remember it well, where she was saying to our oldest that one of the signs that my wife had that I was marryable was that, and I don't remember what neither of us remember what caused it, but apparently one night we were out together and I got very upset. And my wife had, at the time, my woman I was seeing had not seen me this upset. And she said something to the effect of, you know, and I was driving. So she said something like, "Why don't you pull over and, finish the thought or let this out, and so that you're not driving, we're not angrily being, and she said, "I did it." And she said that she took as a sign. She was saying, look, he may not be because I wasn't angry at her. It wasn't like I was, we weren't fighting. It was, I don't remember what, but her point was, I saw him in his less than perfect moment, but he was willing to listen to constructive criticism. He did not direct the anger at me. There was no violence involved, and he just pulled the car over, parked safely, and we talked it out, and everything was good. And she said that for her was a sign. We're not looking for in every case for this person, this man, to be perfect in his form initially, but we see that he is someone in his imperfection that doesn't go too far and is willing to take instruction and constructive criticism and listen to. She said he was willing to listen to me, and that was a sign that and I thought that was a pretty good example for us to share, because it's sometimes I think young people might be encouraged to only be looking for the perfect partner. Yeah. And we have to realize that within reason, it can't be too much of a mess in this whole thing of we're going to save all the messes, but we can't expect full perfection. But if you see there is a tendency towards corrective behavior. So I like that.
Now listen, that's called my boy. You know nothing about that.
Who knew that Jerry had relationship advice in his bag, shorty?
I think that's great relationship advice, actually. It's a key thing for me if someone listens to me too. Because I think that, especially for
wait. Let that shit breathe a little bit, because you about to sully the shit already.
I wasn't about to sully it.
Well, you come from the context of like obsessed with me.
You
and
didn't even let
nigga
me
listen
finish.
to me.
You didn't even let me finish what I was
Let
saying.
that shit breathe, shorty. Like,
You don't
breathe a
even
little
know
bit.
what I was gonna say, nigga. Damn.
That's the problem. Like, let it breathe a little bit.
Shut up.
All right, now you go.
All I was gonna say is that's a key indicator for me too if someone listens to me, because I think in one of the basic things from relationships is people want to be heard. Like they want to know, like, when you're talking to them, that you're actually listening to what they're saying, and that if like it asks you for advice, that you're actually listening and you might take it. Like I think that that's really important to me, because if I don't feel like someone's listening to me, then I don't see a purpose of continuing to talk to them. I'm not like going to waste my fucking time. Like,
yeah.
Geechee is a woman hater, because he really be trying to silence black women. I hope y'all know that.
Come on, man.
I mean, just be doing everything he can. Not every comment I make is gonna be outlandish. Geechee, damn.
Well, who knows that? But what I'm saying
Nobody
is
knows until I say
what
it.
I'm saying is let that man, them bars breathe a second and then bring it back. But anyway, so what happens when the listening part, right? So if somebody's communicating that like you did something to them, offended them, hurt them, and it makes you feel the type of way, and you kind of respond instead of acknowledging their feelings, do you think that's listening? Or and I guess how it goes both ways. Like, do you feel like you are a good active listener as well?
Are you asking me or Jared?
You
I couldn't tell. I thought you like to talk to men, so I wasn't sure if you were talking to me or Jared.
You can keep going.
I think that it depends on the person.
Your fans gonna do your thing in the chat, but go ahead, keep going.
I think it's important to ask people what they want. Like, do you want me to respond to what you're saying, or do you want me to acknowledge your feelings? Some people care about that more. Like I care about people acknowledging how something made me feel versus giving me advice about it. So I think it's important to ask people, like, do you want me to just kind of like comfort you and or how you're feeling about something, or do you actually want me to respond and give you advice or a response of how I was feeling in the moment? I think that's important. Which is why you should talk to people and listen to what they're saying.
So that applies even if something is involving you. So for instance, if you did or said something and they're telling you that you made them feel a particular way, or they felt the way based off of what you did or said, in that moment, are you still saying like, how do you want me to respond? Or are you like responding because now it involves you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I would want to know what the person wants.
Okay.
Because
I think that's helpful.
I don't care as deeply about how much like something made somebody feel versus like a response. So I like to ask them, do you want me to acknowledge how this made you feel? Like, is that what we're talking about? Or do you want me to respond to what happened? Because I'm most likely just going to respond to what happened and why I did whatever I did or how I felt about it. I'm not going to acknowledge the feelings as much because I don't care. So I think that's important to ask people.
That's very mature. I
know.
That's
I'm very mature, Geechee. I just play too fucking much.
I'm just saying that's a skill. I mean, shit. That sounds like a skill.
I'm very skilled.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So is this discussion of Ricky's article on abolition going to happen here or somewhere? Because
I think we should do it next Friday. I think that'd be cool.
Like I'm down for that.
I would because read something for a while and prepare for
I like that. I was asked last week by a student if I was an abolitionist. And I said yes, but I may not be thinking of it in the way that I need to be. So I'm down for some clarity on that.
What made you respond yes? Like, what was the thought that made you think, yeah, I am?
Well, as I said in the class, that I'm opposed, given the context, I'm opposed to all forms of policing and imprisonment and in this country. So
the conference is next Friday, so we can't do it, and Ricky not available.
Well, we're doing the show. Right. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you this, Geechee, that we're still doing the show. I don't know why.
No. Slow down. I said the conference is next Friday, and Ricky's not available. Yes, we doing the show, but so that's what I'm saying. But I mean, we can still read it. But
I mean, we could talk about it, and then when Ricky can come back, we can have. I mean, Ricky can.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what Ricky's saying now about I'm not going to be there. I don't know.
I thought you were going to be there. Aren't you over the? Never mind, girl.
So, and my point is, it could be many conversations. It doesn't have to be just the one time. So we can start it. So that was, but that was my answer, though. That was my rough approach to it. And I know, and I did mention this a little bit. I know it's that the term, like many others, has been co-opted and liberalized, and
so
so I don't want to be associated with that. But
the
question,
when they asked, and you said yes, like what was the definition in your head that you said yes to?
The one I just gave, and then I elaborated a little bit in the class.
No, I didn't hear. I was reading in the chat.
So my quick elaboration was that given the context of this country, I'm opposed to all forms of policing and incarceration. That now, outside of the idea that capitalism and imperialism creates the contradictions that require, in some people's minds, a police force to protect this, that, and the third. That notwithstanding, I'm not opposed entirely to some form of societal policing and management of those who are unwilling to safely and without harm live comfortably within the society. So, I'm not, but it's just this current context. I can't. So it's the same way, like philosophically, I'm not opposed to violence or so-called capital punishment, but in this context, in this country, I am opposed to the death penalty just for the same reasons I'm opposed to the prison system, because I know it cannot be adjudicated, pun intended, fairly and equally. So that's really it. And I get there's levels of sophistication above that, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think whenever I hear the question, we talk about all the times about like what we're building, what we're for, as opposed to what we're against. And so I think because I hear the word is kind of like, well, I just want to destroy something or abolish something, and then what, right? And so it's almost like again, Jared, it's your fault, but the sky full of elephants. Like if whiteness was abolished, and then what? Niggas is just then what you gonna do?
So I was thinking, like what Amber said earlier, when I happened to be in Marangu, Tanzania, many years ago, in relatively the middle of nowhere, there was an incident where local residents allegedly, to address someone's abuse of a woman in the community, put them in tires and burnt them up.
Mm-hmm.
And my question then is similar to now. And my only concern is if, so that was happening absent any sort of state sanctioned police or military or anything like that. But my question then is well, who was determining this then? I'm still big on process.
Systems.
I ran into even some problems, in my modern day life around this. I'm big on, I'm like, there's got to be a clarified process, because otherwise, then what? Then whoever, because we talk about it now, like whoever clicks up and has a popularity in the moment can just determine somebody get tired of. So that's, I was like, so how did we determine that this person deserved it? Once that is I never got an answer to that. I wasn't in the community like that, but once that is addressed, then I'm cool with whatever. But I'm not really comfortable in these moments with what the process is, So that's that. That would be my concern.
Yeah, I think that's what Sis from Stoner Rebellion was saying. Like even saying you're abolitionist, and then like it's just not going to happen. So the process to get to it, or the path of the process to get to it, like what would it take to get there? Not only you need processes to replace it, but there's a process to abolitionists, right? So,
yeah, I think that's what so I would say that's what I'm the most committed to, is the process of actually getting there. I find that like a lot of people will talk about being abolitionists, but none of them are doing any kind of work towards that. Mm-hmm. That's like what I've centered most of my like policy work on, is removing police from certain situations, removing them from like pre-sexual stops, removing them from traffic stops, removing them from interactions with people, like slowly removing their access to people, because that's what makes us actually safer. And I think that more people should be working on stuff like that. But, I'm not one to, tell folks what exactly to do. So I just talk about the things that I be doing. And I also think that Go ahead.
No, I was going to transition because as we wrap up to telling us what you're doing. You said something to the effect.
Oh, I just think that also includes putting like different accountability measures in place, like the data transparency thing I've talked about, because giving folks access to like see what police are actually doing also helps to abolish them because it shows how fucked up they are. So I think it's like a multitude of different things that actually lead to abolition. And when I mentioned talking about it on the show next week, I did not mean to have Ricky there. I thought we were just going to discuss like we've done before, but that makes sense to have her there. So I do think we should ask her what her schedule is and do it at a time when she's available. But that's not, I wasn't like, my original thought wasn't that like Ricky had to be there. I thought we were just going to talk about it. So my bad, Ricky. But like I told Geechee in the chat yesterday, we're still doing the show on Friday. It's just going to be live and Jared's going to be at his house because he won't come to the conference.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because you said you couldn't come.
But you said like I won't come to the conference. Like that's different from I'm not able to be there.
Because you hate me.
Wow, that's deep.
I'm kidding.
That's an unfortunate inference.
Jared isn't able to come. So I do just want y'all to know I'm going to be in rare form. I act the craziest when I'm in other places, not where I'm from. So I'm really finna have a good ass time because my friends and I have already planned things to do.
Damn.
Each day.
Hey, I'm wrong. Listen, folk, I don't appreciate that I don't get any benefits of the doubt. And if anybody is
see the power that Amber has. That's just how it works. And she
but you all are maybe you know what Amber's right. And all because what y'all saying in the chat, that's why I'm not coming. That's it. That's why. That's it.
Can somebody highlight Sheena's comment so Ricky stops yelling at us? I know you're yelling at them, Ricky, not me, so I'm not taking it personally.
What do you mean? What comment?
Sheena made a comment about something. I don't see it anymore, but I'm looking for it.
Well, listen, wait, what is this? When the major population is colonized,
CPO, baby.
Wait, what?
Wow,
what?
Shallow, Jared.
Salo, wait, I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, my bad, Geechee.
No, I haven't been outside all year.
I'm not going outside anymore. I'm inside. This is the new inside era of Jared. I've been outside. I'm done. I'm in the house. I'm staying inside.
I'm not done. I'll be outside. You hear me? My outfits is ready. The tickets have been bought. I got a rental car. I got a dog sitter. It's up.
That's what's up.
I really don't see Sheena's comment though. I looked for it, Ricky. Can they post it again?
About what? Like stop the show. Stop the show.
The vegan with perpetual beef.
Decline
all meetings and whatnot. What? Oh my goodness!
Y'all. He said that he got to get his baby to school. He got children and they need a ride. I said, put the girl on the bus.
I don't have no good reason. I just don't want to leave the house.
Which is insane, Jared.
I am a terrible. I accept all of the things. I'm terrible.
He really hates me, you guys.
I hate Amber. I don't.
The way
no,
that we
I didn't, Renee. You lying. I did not go to Jersey, New York. I have never left my house.
No,
I don't go nowhere.
They're saying you need to come to NYC and NJ, not that you came.
Oh, okay. My bad. I misread it.
Reading comprehension. Anyways, this weekend, what are you doing, Jared?
So first of all, make sure everybody you have your bell rung so you don't miss all of these programs on this platform. So did I see that Jackie changed the name from Darker Than Blue? I thought I saw that, but if maybe I'm misreading something, but please tune in for that. Please tune in for Saturdays with Renee tomorrow. Tune in Monday for both the discussion with Baba Akinyele Umoja about the new Robert and Mabel Williams memoir. By the way, this is Robert Williams' 100th birthday year as well. I was just reminded of that. And then come back at 12 on Monday.
Fridays for Jackie.
What happened?
It's a double show on Fridays for Jackie, Darker Than Blue and The Dark Room afterwards.
Got you. Thank you very much, Renee. So double the Jackie on Friday. Saturdays with Renee. Monday you get in some way double the Jared because we got the morning show, and then at 12 noon we have a Memorial Day special.
What you doing for the morning show? Let me come on.
Baba, I can yell at you emoji. I thought you said you paid attention. I thought you said you was listening.
Oh, that for that thing is on my name. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you say the Baba.
So yeah, I can yell emojis. Yeah, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been reading, seeing emails and discussions of this book for years. As they've been trying to get the Robert and Mabel Williams memoir together, and I cannot wait to continue reading that. I've already read the section on Ram. And his version of what Baba Ahmed was talking about in his thesis from last week. Like all these shows overlap, so it's good. I'm very excited about that. And then 12 o'clock, Andy Ellis, I'm going to call it the future governor of Maryland for the Green Party, is going to join me, Renee, and Geechee. Right? No,
at 12.
Is that 12 on Monday? Are you joining us Monday?
This is at 12 on Monday.
Yeah.
If I can get out those meetings, if I can get out those meetings, I'll be there. You know it.
And then the whole week of the remix next week as well. So Sundays with Ear Doctor and all of that. So please, everybody, like, share, subscribe, check the Patreon, support however you can, materially, immaterially, and anything else between the two of you want to mention.
Well, I just want to say, Jared, they said that you was in New York City looking like a hipster barista and that you were a liar because you posted the pictures on Instagram with Renee, and that you get on 295 and drive right down to Renee and forget everybody else. I said,
I do. I'll be skipping I like
and
I mean, it's the same way. As soon as I leave campus, I'm on the 895 easy pass lane, avoid the city. I'm not trying to be nowhere. Yep, just pass by everybody, everything.
I get it though.
Just to rush to get here to the Remix Morning Show with Amber and Geechee.
Even though I know you're not going nowhere in the morning, so that's a lot. But I understand because Renee is amazing. I love hanging out with them.
Renee is amazing. So
this weekend, I'm going to go be a hot girl like I normally do. I'm going to a conference in Nashville. And then coming back home. Yeah, Jared's light-skinned behavior. Then I'm coming back home. So I'm like in the streets, but not in the streets. But I'll be in the streets. Because I got outfits that need to be seen. It's hot outside. It's time to have my thighs out. I just feel like that's what the weather calls for.
Well, I was trying to think of a rhyme for that. Size out, thighs out, highs out, thighs out, sun's out, guns out.
No.
Man, that used to be. Ooh, there was a moment. Where's James at? I know James.
She says, thighs out, eyes out.
Thighs out, eyes out.
But broke niggas don't bother. She looking for another dude to put on her roster. Might fuck a roster. No, I'm joking. Too much.
I won't.
Beige Rage.
Brittany,
That's my third installment of my memoirs. Beige
I'm not
Rage.
5'5", but I am 5'9", thick in the thighs. But I'm not 5'5". I'm actually very tall.
You 5'9"?
Very much a long leg goddess.
Are you 5'9"?
Out here breaking hearts every day. I'm going on a date tonight too.
You 5'9"?
Tonight with the poly nigga. We still talk. I think he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said no. So I want y'all to know that I am nice. I'm generous. Okay. And it's a true example that you can turn somebody down and still have a healthy dating relationship with them.
More power to you.
Say what?
Yeah, I was never that advanced. I couldn't.
Did I tell you about that? About him asking to be his girlfriend?
No.
So can we can we tease that for next Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell the story later. It's fine.
Friday after Friday.
All right, everybody. Peace. Only if you're willing to fight for it, like Fred Hampton used to say. Thank you, Geechee. Thank you, Amber. Thanks to the undefeated chat. We'll catch you next time with more Remix Morning Show right here at Black Liberation Media, everybody. Thanks again.
Remix. 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 Remix.